protozoan protist includes first one, Juflagellata. And regarding the characteristics of them, first of all, first unicellular eukaryotes like all. Locomotory organ flagella in all cases. Oh, one group I think I didn't discuss. Sorry. Oh, yes. Right. Protista, protozoan algae. Sorry. Juflagellata, extremely so. Under which, first of all, unicellular and eukaryotic. Second one should be locomotory organ flagella. Third point should be next one should be there may be free living or parasite. Free living or parasite or symbionts.
Sir,
Like this. Yes.
sir, ZDS এর লেখা স্যার এটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে না।
কোনটা?
স্যার
Juflagellata, wait. Unicellular and eukaryotic. They are unicellular and eukaryotic. Locomotory organ flagella. They are either free living or parasite or symbionts. The plasma membrane is covered by thin pellicle. Covered by thin pellicle. So, they are the Juflagellates. Example for first one. These are basal granule. Nucleus. Single flagellum. So this is the structure of, trypanosoma. Causes, one for example is trypanosoma. Gambians. It causes African sleeping sickness. So regarding trypanosoma, other points like actually digenetic parasite. So trypanosoma is a digenetic parasite. What is digenetic parasite? It requires to host to complete its life cycle. One is primary host human being. CC fly. The scientific name of which is Glossina palpalis. So this is what about the trypanosoma. Next one is Leishmania.
Sir,
That's one thing I'm telling you, some enter by galaxy journey. It will be like this. And is there it is also a parasite, primary host, human being, intermediate host, sandfly, whose scientific name is Phlebotomus argentis. Now I am going to ask a question here. Can anyone of you tell me that what is mean by primary host and what is mean by intermediate? Mute please. Someone is raising. Sujata, you raised your hand. Mature or larval stage of parasite and is called so this is what primary host and intermediate host. You are almost right. So this is what about the host. Remember this thing. The one thing I should ask you here, your larva stage. Very good question. What is larva? What is larva? Can anyone say? Akashdeep Naha. And not even dependent on parents for food and shelter. And these intermediate forms are called larva. I am repeating it again. In some animal, in the life cycle of some animal, some intermediate or temporary forms are developed, which do not resemble their parents and not even dependent on parents for food and shelter. They are in plural called larvae, singular is larva. Is it clear to you?
Sir, can you repeat once more?
Huh?
Sir, can you repeat once more?
Okay, I am telling you. You see, in the life cycle of some animals, not all, in the life cycle of some animals, some intermediate forms, or an intermediate form is developed, or intermediate temporary form is developed, which doesn't resemble its parents and not even dependent on parent for food and shelter and not even dependent on parents for food and shelter. This intermediate temporary form is called larva. Suppose I am giving you a very simple example. Everyone has seen the caterpillars. Caterpillars are the larvae. So their adult form is the butterfly, suppose. So a caterpillar doesn't resemble butterfly by any means. Not even that, the caterpillar is not dependent on butterfly for food and shelter. Or butterflies are not coming to feed them. And that's why this is called the larva. So all immature forms are not the larva. And secondly, it is not too dependent on parents for food and shelter. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are coming to the third one under this. This one is Giardia intestinalis. It causes giardiasis. Giardiasis is a disease. Symptoms like diarrhea, abdominal pain like this. Now, what about the giardia? It will be like this.
আশা করছিলাম আরো 10 মতন বাড়বো। যাই হোক, এটা আমার আনলাক, যে কোনো কারণে রিভিউ দিছি, বুঝছিস নি? তবে ব্যাপারে আমার বাড়ি ঘরের সবার সাহায্য পাওয়া যাবে, দাদু মামা বাবা সবাই আমার সাহায্য করছে, পড়ার কথা বসে যাই। হ্যাঁ, আর স্কুলে শিক্ষক রাখলো চারজনকে, প্রায় 7 জন, ঠিক আছে? 5টা সাবজেক্ট, 4-5 জন আসলো, 4-5 জন। হ্যাঁ,
This is called giardia. And due to its shape, you know, this is actually the nucleus. And inside you will get the nucleus. And here it is also called, you know, grand old man of intestine. Is called grand old man of intestine. So it is a it's a monogenetic parasite. Only host is human being. So you need to remember the name. This is caused, most important, number of flagella. 4 pairs. You need to remember this thing. And giardiasis, you need to remember at least 2 points here. Suppose abdominal, already I told you, diarrhea and abdominal discomfort. So this is about the Juflagellata. We are now proceeding towards the Sarcodina. Is it clear? Juflagellata. You remember these 3: Leishmania donomini, what it causes; Trypanosoma gambians, what it causes; and Giardia intestinalis, what it is going to cause. So these are 3 types: Leishmania donomini,
Sir, what is the the grand
Yes.
old man of intestine? Sir, what is the grand intestine?
oh, actually Giardia intestinalis is other name. due to its shape, you see its shape, due to its shape and due to its location in our body, where it is found? It is found in the intestine. Giardia is found in our intestine, first thing. And secondly, consider its shape. Considering its shape and its actually presence in our body, together the term comes grand old man of intestine. It is called grand old man of intestine. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Tell me. Tell
so
me.
what is this no flagella equals to 4 Paris?
No
So
need.
no flagella.
It is not no. There is a dot after that. Number of flagella. Number of flagella. Okay.
Sir, it has two nucleus in Giardia.
Ah,
Sir,
Tell
it's a
me.
mouth-like structure.
Basically, it is the area there is some gastric cavity, and these are the two nuclei, and here they have to take some food and to survive. And they move through this flagellary movement as they have four pairs of flagella. Clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I am to the next group. Next group is after two flagellata. Next group is Sarcotina. Acellular, unicellular. Locomotory organ, pseudopodia. Most important point here, locomotory organ, pseudopodia. And what is the purpose of pseudopodia? It helps in two ways. Engulfing of food. The two functions performed by the pseudopodia. One is engulfing of food. Second is locomotion. Third one, nutrition is or parasitic. Holozoic or parasitic. One common example is amoeba. Entamoeba histolytic, I think you have heard of this name earlier. It causes Entamoeba histolytica causes amoebic dysentery. It is found in our intestine and responsible for amoebic dysentery. Normally, amoeba, you know, is a holozoic nutrition. One most important thing you need to remember here, the role of pseudopodia among protozoa and protists, only in Sarcodina. You can write it down. Among protozoa and protists, write down. Among protozoa and protists, only in Sarcodina, pseudopodia are observed. Only in Sarcodina, pseudopodia are observed. Among these protozoa and protists, and you need to remember this thing.
Sir, only in Sarcodina.
Pseudopodia.
So can you repeat in this part?
Okay. Among protozoa and protists, only in Sarcodina group, pseudopodia are observed, or pseudopodia are found. Reproduction, mainly asexual type, carried out by binary fission, multiple fission, and lastly, suppose you know, budding. Sexual reproduction is also found. So this is what about the sarcodines. Most important point is here the pseudopodia. Mostly they are holozoic, parasitic one is rare, mainly the Entamoeba histolytica. Now I have to show you the structure of Entamoeba histolytica now. Two distinct layers of protoplasm. So this part is and inside is endoplasm. This is the here you may get they are called food vacuum. This is the pseudopodium. Here you will get, they are called mitochondria. So this is the basic structure of Entamoeba histolytica, and it is developing pseudopodium for both engulfing of food and locomotion. Remember this thing, in case of human being, the tetranucleus stage found in the life cycle is called the mature state of the cyst called tetranucleus, which enters the body and responsible for amoebic dysentery. So this is what about the Most important two sarcoids, one is amoeba, other is the entamoeba. There are some others also, like radiolarians, heliozoans, foraminiferans. They are generally found, they are older types. Other types of sarcoids are radiolarians, then foraminiferans, and another is heliozoan.
Radiolarians,
আচ্ছা এর অ্যালার্জি গ্যালার্জি যদি সুন্দর করে উত্তর দিও সংবর্ধনা দিতে হবে না কি হইতেছে ভবিষ্যতে ওই প্রফেসর
And most important thing in them, sometimes radiolarians are found to be associated with the diatomaceous earth or diatomite. Associated with diatomaceous earth or diatomite. Which one? The radiolarians. Why they are called radiolarians? Because their pseudopodia are thread-like and radially arranged. As their pseudopodia are radially arranged, so the term comes radiolarians. Foraminiferans are also older one, and they are found in the bottom of the sea or pond, and they may be related to the source of petroleum reserve. They may be foraminiferans, may be related to the source of petroleum field. So just write 1 point each. I am telling you, you see, write down, I am telling you. Some sarcoids are besides amoeba and entamoeba. Besides amoeba and entamoeba, please write. Besides amoeba and entamoeba, some other sarcoids are point 1 radiolarians, exclusively marine, exclusively marine and having fine thread-like radiating pseudopodia. And having fine thread-like radiating pseudopodia. Radiolarians, having fine thread-like radiating pseudopodia. Next, the foraminiferans.
Sir,
Foraminiferans.
sir,
Yes.
sir, having pine,
Fine thread-like radiating pseudopodia. Okay.
yes, sir.
Point 2, foraminiferans, they are bottom dwellers. They are found in the bottom of the water body. They are bottom dwellers and they are bottom dwellers possessing calcareous shell.
After photon,
Bottom, B-O-T-T-O-M, bottom dwellers. They are bottom dwellers, B-O-T-T-O-M, bottom dwellers possessing calcareous shell. That means their shell is made of calcium carbonate. Possessing calcareous shell. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Last one, heliozoans. They are spherical sarcodines. They are spherical sarcodines. They are spherical sarcodines which also. With fine pseudopodia called exopodia. With fine pseudopodia called exopodia. So this is what about the sarcodines. We now proceed towards the next group, that is
Sir,
yes. Tell me.
sir, in Entamoeba histolytica, which one is ectoplasm part?
Okay. Look, this is the ectoplasm. Before the peripheral part is ectoplasm. And the central part here, you see? So this part is endoplasm. Clear now? The central part is endoplasm, peripheral part is called ectoplasm. Clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. The third group, sporozoa. The most important, they are spore producing. Spore producing protozoan protist. Example, most common one is Plasmodium. Maybe the Plasmodium vivax. So I'll be discussing detail about what each one is going to cause, what type of malaria caused by each one. Before that, I am to go to the life cycle pattern of Plasmodium, and it is also a digenetic parasite. Female Anopheles mosquito. Human being. So this is what the life cycle. So again, that means Plasmodium requires two hosts to complete its life cycle. Why are female mosquitoes sucking blood?
So for the nourishment of their eggs.
Well, which component of blood is required? Which component of blood is actually required for this? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Basically, the female mosquitoes require the plasma protein of blood. Female mosquitoes require the plasma protein of blood for the development of their eggs. Remember this thing, female mosquitoes are sucking blood for getting the plasma protein from it, which in turn be required for the development of their eggs. Now, we have to start with the life cycle better, most important one. I have to rub it out now.
স্যার স্যার এই মিউবালাইকের শেপের পরের যে ফিগারটা স্যার এটা
একটা মিনিট ওয়েট করো, একটু বলছি। Now, I will explain you, listen carefully. You see, whenever a mosquito bites, the sporozoites, here the sporozoites, which are stored in the salivary gland of the mosquito, enters human body. These sporozoites will then enter the liver. So they enter the liver. After entering the liver, sporozoite grows in size, forming schizon. Once schizon is formed, it undergoes sporulation. It undergoes sporulation, so that a number of merozoites are formed. They may be termed as cryptomerozoites also. Some merozoites will enter the liver again, and the cycle continues there. It's called exoerythrocytic cycle. Some other merozoites will enter the RBC. After entering into the RBC, remember this thing I am telling you, Plasmodium, why Plasmodium prefers to stay in human body? Because Plasmodium requires the globin protein of hemoglobin for its nutrition. Plasmodium requires globin protein of hemoglobin for its nutrition. That's why what happens here, it is to prefer to stay inside the RBC. You know, so RBC enters and then it grows to form a stage called tropozoite. Here you will get the nucleus, the vacuole. Gradually, the vacuole enlarges in size and shifting the nucleus towards the periphery. So then it's a ring-like appearance comes. So the term called signet ring. That stage is tropozoite stage. After that, vacuole disappears. After the signet ring stage, vacuole disappears and an amoeboid shape is developed. Why? This amoeboid shape is developed so that it can engulf the globin protein of hemoglobin. For taking food, it is to become amoeboid like now. After engulfing food, it again increases size to form the zygont. Zygont is formed, and zygont, you know, whenever zygont is formed, it undergoes sporulation. So it undergoes sporulation, RBC is broken down, merozoites are released. One type of merozoite is going to attack a new RBC so that erythrocytic cycle can continue. One merozoite is going to attack a new RBC so that erythrocytic cycle continues. Other type of RBC will come male gametocyte and female gametocyte, which is to enter the body of female mosquito. The third type will secrete hemojoin toxin. The third type will secrete hemojoin toxin, which is to react with the antibody present in plasma, and it is an exothermic reaction, so that heat is produced, received by the heat receptor. Heat receptor will convert it into sensory impulse. This impulse will then enter the hypothalamus. From hypothalamus, instruction comes in the form of motor impulse, and this impulse comes to the muscle, causing muscular contraction. And that's why, you know, malaria patients shiver. Why? Due to this muscular contraction. And as you know, whenever muscular contraction occurs, heat is produced, and that's why fever comes. This is what the third type. Now, the male gametocyte and female gametocyte enter the female body of mosquito. They will be carried to the stomach of mosquito. They will be carried to the stomach of mosquito, and in the stomach, the male gamete fertilizes the egg, form the zygote. Zygote gets elongated to form a structure called okinete. Okinete is an elongated structure, and this elongated structure, okinete, will then be forming the oocyst. How? Before that, the okinete is to create hole on the stomach of the mosquito. Are you getting me? Whenever okinete is formed, it is to create a hole on the wall of the stomach of mosquito, and through this hole, it comes out. That means if it is a stomach, so here suppose this is the plasmodium, or it is the okinete here, and it comes outside like this, outside the stomach, outer wall. So it resides now in the outer wall of the stomach, and there what it is going to do? It is to form a cyst called oocyst. After being carried to the outer wall of the stomach, this okinete will be forming a cyst-like structure called oocyst. Oocyst then undergoes sporulation, forming sporozoites. Sporozoites are distributed throughout the body. Sporozoites are distributed throughout the body and even to the salivary gland. The sporozoites which are carried to the salivary gland will actually enter the human body during mosquito bite. So remember this thing here. The plasmodium enters the human body. Plasmodium enters the human body at sporozoite stage. Plasmodium enters the human body at sporozoite stage, and it enters the body of mosquito again in the gametocyte stage. You see gametocyte stage, it enters the body of mosquito, and in the sporozoite stage, it enters the body of the human being. You need to remember this thing. And secondly, you know, if someone is suffering from malaria for a long time, then what will happen? There should be huge destruction of RBC, and due to the huge destruction of RBC, you know, hemoglobin is broken down, and is from his heme part. In the heme part, there is a pigment called porphyrin, which is to form the bilirubin and biliverdin. That's why severe destruction of RBC in turn is responsible for what? Jaundice. That's why it is concerned with both jaundice. Secondly, as every time a lot of toxins are produced which are to be carried to the liver. That's why if someone is suffering from malaria, there should be enlargement of his liver. Liver gets enlarged. Next, as a lot of RBCs are, liver cycle is going on, so liver gets enlarged. Secondly, RBCs are completely destroyed, and as I think that the spleen is considered as the graveyard of RBC. I think you know it. Spleen is called graveyard of RBC. And why it is called graveyard of RBC? This is because spleen, the reticular endothelial cells of spleens are to engulf dead RBC. So if a lot of RBCs are dead, by engulfing them, obviously size of the spleen increases. So malaria is also accompanied with another disease called splenomegaly. So enlargement of spleen is called splenomegaly. So in malaria, that another symptom is splenomegaly. One symptom is enlargement of fever. And as you know, in malaria, normally fever comes, and fever actually the 3 stages of the symptoms. One is actually when fever comes, before that there is a shivering stage or cold stage, and then the sweating stage. So there are 3 stages in the life cycle. Okay, first of all, you have to understand this cycle. Now go through it. If you have any problem, you please tell me. Second question comes, why do malaria patients shiver? Second question comes, why do malaria patients shiver? Then what should be your answer? Whenever someone is suffering from malaria, the merogenes discharged from the RBC, some of them will be secreting hemogen toxin, which in turn reacts with the antibody present in plasma, and heat produced received by the heat receptor, and the impulse is carried to the hypothalamus. Now, as per the instruction of the hypothalamus, muscular contraction starts, and due to muscular contraction, we shiver. Due to muscular contraction, we shiver. And eventually, as due to muscular contraction, heat is produced. That's why after shivering, fever comes. Remember this thing, in case of malaria disease, when there is shivering, just after shivering, what will happen? The fever will come. Now see, if you have any problem, I am giving you 1 minute. Go through it, please. Tell me.
Sir, what is written after okinate?
Actually, I am not hearing you. A bit louder, please.
Sir, what is written after okinate?